G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map. Playing as the Abbasid dynasty in the colour red, representing Izzy Esports, it is Marine Lord. And on the south side of the map, playing in the colour yellow, as the Chinese, it's Beastie Cutie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Woodwall. We're here watching EGC TV's semi-final. For anybody who missed it yesterday, I'm not going to be spoiling it for you, so if you do want to go back and watch it, then I encourage you, make sure you go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description, but more importantly, when this video gets uploaded, there will be 1 hour, well, I should say when this video goes live, because technically it gets uploaded before it goes live, but when this video gets live, there will be 1 hour until EGC TV's grand final is going to start. Now, of course, there's the third place match, which will go before it, and of course, there'll be spoilers for the not this game, but obviously the games that came before it. So just keep that in mind. But I'd encourage you to come over, check it out. I'm going to be casting there. Killer Pigeon's going to be there as well. For anybody unfamiliar with the big man, let's just put it this way: he's a man with many a feather. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Obviously, it's going to be a big night of action, and I hope to see you guys all there. But without further ado, let's get into it because it's a fun matchup. It's a great matchup, a matchup that I personally love the Chinese in. This is a matchup that, as the Chinese, I feel so powerful against the Abbasid dynasty. The Abbasid dynasty, a civilization that does somewhat struggle with Zhuge in the feudal age, and this can subsequently be really punished. One of the key things that I love to do in this matchup especially is a bit of a timing push, a bit of a power spike attack. So typically what you look to do in a matchup like this is get yourself some semblance of control in the feudal age, get lots and lots of Zhuge out, and then look for a timing attack with supervised Zhuge veterancy as well as Zhuge balanced projectiles. So basically your Zhuge go from 5 damage to 7 damage in the blink of an eye because you can supervise those bad boys up really, really quickly and get your upgrades out. So look for a nice timing window like that. There's obviously quite a few different ways that you can play it. You can play for the late game, but it is always a bit dangerous playing for the late game against the Abbasid dynasty, especially that China... Well, it's been a couple months that China hasn't been the powerhouse in the late game that it once used to be. There's obviously a few more kings on the block, and Abbasid dynasty is definitely one of them, and we already see a bit of an interesting development here. It's Marine Lord going for trade wing again. So, you know, we've talked about it many a time, the fact that people talk about trade wing, or not trade wing, but trade in particular, like it's overpowered, it's crazy busted. Even the pros at the top level talk about it, yet we don't see any of them using it. Well, it looks like we have got ourselves a switch up from that. Marine Lord going to be going for trade. Now, one thing to note about this map is that trade is not the most safe trade that you can look to take. So the trading posts are towards the centers of the edges of the map. Now, that makes it relatively easy if Marine Lord wants to trade on this side as an example. He can just wall off this point right here and then trade from here down to this corner and then subsequently look to defend over here. Alternatively, he can look to wall this part off somewhere. I probably don't want to do it on the Barbican, but you could just wall it off around here and then do the same thing and then look to defend over on this side. Then that buys you a little bit of time. But one of the things to note is that there's a couple different ways that you can play trade as the Abbasid dynasty. Now, I talked to Don Artie about this, the big Don man, and I said, Don, what's the deal with trade? And he said, okay, Drongo, hear me out. This is the trick. You play Abbasid, you go trade wing, and you just you just have 3 traders, and that's it. You don't go any more than that. You don't go any less than that. Just your 3 traders, and you just trade with them. And that's going to pull you in a fair amount of resources. Now, it used to pull in 180 gold. It got nerfed. I think it's down to 164, something like that, 168. But the key difference is that this one is quite a bit more angled. You got yourself a pretty big angle on this trade. So the numbers here are going to be pretty decent. And we start to see the first of the traders making their way across. Now, the question is going to be whether Marine Lord looks to add in additional traders or not. That's the second way that you can play this. You can add in additional traders because a lot of people look at trade and they're like, oh, I got to go big or I got to go home. And the reality is you don't have to go big or go home. You can just go small and stay right there. I'll allow you to. And that could be the case here for Marine Lord. Normally what you will see players look to do is throw down markets next to the trading post so that they can get their traders out extra quickly, but it is a bit of a trap if you do go into doing something like that. Now, I'm curious how Beastie responds to this. We'll ride on board with Beastie and see exactly what he spots out. An interesting Barbican spot, looking to somewhat guard this trading post as well, just aware that there could be a potential pathway through. So that's going to fire down on any traders. You can see great coverage here. So that pretty much covers off that side. He also secures up, obviously, 2 golds, big berry spawns here. He's having a great time, and that pretty much just guards off the map. But we do see that wall coming down. So Marine Lord just going to be walling nice and safe. Doesn't even want to include the relic. Doesn't want to look to come up and take out these berries. Just goes nice and safe. And Beastie now reaching Song Dynasty. So for anybody unfamiliar with Song Dynasty, let me explain it for you. Faster villager train time for the Chinese, as well as unlocking the Zhuku-Nu, one of the key units to the Chinese power in the feudal age. So the first of the horsemen comes out, and Beastie now going to be looking to spot that trade. You can see the way that he's positioned here. He's very intently looking to try and find trade. And even in the face of adversity here, with the horsemen chasing him, hitting him, he's still trying his best to reach in there as far as he could, but realizes he's going to have to retreat if he does want to keep the scout alive. And that is definitely the right choice, because in this situation, you're going to need that scout later on through the game. You can always try and sneak him back around the other side, but obviously we know the truth, don't we? But Marine Lord going to be looking to spot out for Beastie as well. Sees the barracks coming out. Obviously, Beastie's only seen the horsemen so far, so it doesn't have too much of an idea exactly what Marine Lord's up to. We'll ride on board with Marine Lord and see how he's doing, as it is only going to be the 3 traders coming in. So with this, it is going to be the first drop-off. Now, we'll check exactly how much these bad boys have got. 181 gold, 45 food. That's pretty nice. Now, Don Artie, he's the guy, he says, all right, so Drongo, the trick is you just play it normally, don't make any traders, and when this gold comes in, you're going to get all your upgrades. You're going to get wheelbarrow, you're going to get double broadaxe. So let's see exactly what he looks to do. You can see just how many resources this is dropping off right now. He can also look to train more traders here. Keep in mind, the Abbasid do train traders for quite a discount, and there's the upgrades coming through. Double broadaxe with wheelbarrow. So definitely seems like Don Artie has not skipped his breakfast. He knows exactly what he's talking about. Double range going to be coming now through for Marine Lord. So Marine Lord going to be looking to move into archers. Now, keep in mind in this matchup, Abbasid player does not want to be going into camel archers. Camel archers are very dangerous to go into, just because Zhuku-Nu get such great value against them. They want high health units they can just focus down in a single burst, and that's exactly what they can do. And now, double archery range does get spotted out here for Marine Lord. So Beastie, he's going to be well and truly telling the world what he's doing. Over on the other side, we do see more eco upgrades coming through, though. Interestingly, Marine Lord, how much did he spend? 100, 250? Where did the other gold go? Did he do a little bit of market trading? You doing a little bit of market trading down here? He's not. Where did that other gold go? He spent the gold on something. He's picked up double broadaxe. He picked up wheelbarrow. I don't see any other upgrades. Oh, he probably picked up something at the... No, he already had that. I don't know. I don't know where his gold went. I mustn't have been paying attention. But I thought he had like 560, and that's only 250 right there. So, yeah. All right. Well, we'll ride on board with Beastie. And Beastie going to be playing an interesting style. So, I mentioned before the power of the Zhuku-Nu. It's one of those units that you can actually just mass 100%. Especially in this matchup, you can go 100% Zhuku-Nu. It's a little bit more... What's the term? It's a little bit more risque to be going into mass Zhuku-Nu only. But it's definitely a thing that can be done. I mean, we've seen B do it up against Beastie before. I think if I remember correctly, Beastie was playing the Rus and had access to the Age 2 Knight, and still B only made Zhuku-Nu and still did so well against him. But a little bit of a raid coming through. Beastie obviously going to be spotting it out. A couple of vills here on the gold. Nothing just yet. Still got plenty of time on these berries, on these sheep as well. So just slowly pushing these horsemen around the edge. Might have to bring in these vills. Wants to avoid losing them. So he's got his wheelbarrow through. You can tell by the fact these guys are moving extra quickly. And no villagers going to be lost here. And Beastie getting plenty of upgrades. Double broadaxe, wheelbarrow, and horticulture coming through. But +1 ranged attack also through now as well for Beastie. So he'll be looking to go heavily into Zhuku-Nu. Now, for me, the big question is whether Beastie looks to play it out in feudal or go to castle. And for this matchup in particular, I always feel like going castle is a great choice, but you really want to try and get out on the map, establish yourself. Let's ride on board with Marine Lord, though. I want to check in with him, because over on the other side of the map, we do see that the market is down, but it's still only the 3 traders. So he's very much playing just a feudal-orientated game, very military-heavy game here. In fact, a lot of units coming out already for Marine Lord. I'm liking this style, and this is the identical style that Don Artie described. He said you go the 3 traders, you leave them, and then you just play heavy feudal age, and then let those traders push you up, because you're going to be getting gold in from these traders. 181 gold here a pop coming through from you, so almost 600 gold you're talking coming through. So you could even look to go for castle age here yourself. The problem is, and the reason why in this matchup Castle Age is so dangerous, is because there's always a timing window where the Chinese are going to be able to attack you, and you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to squeeze out the mangonel. You're just going to be sort of holding, you're just going to be... It's not going to be good. Let's just put it that way. It's not going to be good. You're unable to really do much because the Castle Age takes so long to come through. So let's take a look, and the upgrades are now coming in. Looks like it's going to be Iron Undermesh. I don't know where is he spending money on traders? No, he is buying resources. Okay, must have reset. Chukunu and Spear coming through. Beastie with a huge force here starting to push out a lot of Chukunu, up to 25 now. And we see plenty of production back here. Everything nice and beautifully tucked away inside the Imperial Academy. So really good base building here from Beastie. Often, even players at the top level will not look to exploit the bonuses that Chinese base building has got. And obviously, Beastie is not one of those players. He is a very proficient Chinese player. And now, Beastie moving over towards that west side. I'm curious if he knows how much Marine Lord's got here, or what he suspects Marine Lord's got, because the traders are making their way across. Marine Lord only picking up ranged attack now. He's got the ranged armor, which is the key difference here. And now Beastie makes his way through, and we enter into the cinematic mode as a lot of spears move forward. But the Chukunu somewhat just face planting into the enemy horsemen. Fortunately, the spears are here. The numbers are way too high, though, for Marine Lord. Beastie cannot fight this. There's no way he can fight in this position. There's just not enough units for him. Even though you've got the Chukunu, the super powerful Chukunu, your archers are just... Your enemy archers are just going to be able to one-shot the enemy spears. And it just means that the horsemen are going to get huge value. Reinforcements coming through on the backside. More reinforcements looping around. There's so many units right now for Marine Lord. This is crazy. Now, Marine Lord's got a bit of a window here. He can determine... He can say, all right, well, I have very clearly got a great window here that I can take access or can look to access. He can go castle. But if he does go castle, then he is under threat of a feudal push. So it's very much in his best interest to just keep making units, which is where the power comes through for Beastie. Beautiful micro coming through for Marine Lord once again, looking incredible here. And we bring you out of that cinematic mode, and check right there. You can see the difference in military pop. Marine Lord stacking up a lot of wood at the moment. We'll switch it out, and we see additional markets getting traded down. So Marine Lord now looking to go big on trade. Definitely an interesting call. I'm not going to say it's the right call, but to be honest, I like this. Playing extended feudal here and going into trade. The one thing is, right now, all Marine Lord needs to do, he needs to just spam horsemen. That's the only unit he can make. The problem that he's going to have is the enemy Chukunu timing. Because Castle Age is going to be coming through soon. And we can tell that. 16 Chukunu in, but that's going to be more than enough to defend. He goes castle. Look at the archery ranges coming out for Beastie as well. 5 archery ranges. Stacking up resources, looking like he's intent on going castle. A little bit of safety walls coming through. But remember, he's going to have reinforcement advantage here. And the further Marine Lord gets away from his base, the harder it's going to be for him to connect those forces. But now, just looking to gather up quite a bit of gold here. Excuse me, quite a bit of gold here. You can see that Castle Age is imminently coming through. Marine Lord backing off. Definitely the wise choice here. Could look for some battering rams, but battering rams are always tough against the Chinese. Just remember, Chukunu, they melt through battering rams. And a normal archer ball of this size would do 22 damage to every battering ram, every second or so. These guys do 66. They do triple the damage. And there's the age up. So expect a couple of key factors here. With Beastie going up, there's going to be 3 main things that we're looking for. Number 1, it's going to be veterancy on the Chukunu. Number 2, it's going to be balanced projectiles on the Chukunu. They've already picked up steeled arrows. Now he's going to be looking for balanced projectiles. And number 3 is going to be palace guards. Palace guards are going to be able to combat enemy horsemen. Now, normally you'd be like, well, Drongo spears are good against horsemen. Yeah, they're good against horsemen, but archers are really good against spears. You go palace guards, they're good against everything. And now Marine Lord. Got to be so careful. He's walking into danger. And there's the upgrade coming through immediately. Expected to be supervised. Indeed, it is 20 seconds to go. Needs to pick up +2 as well, but doesn't actually have the resources for it just yet. You can see him supervising up this. How many supervisors do we have? He's got 3 supervisors that I can see. Is it just the 3 supervisors? Is that all you got, Beastie? Yeah, only the 3 Imperial officials. Maybe he's got one down here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger on the minimap. They're quite large circles. And now the veterancy coming through. Extra damage is key here, but extra health also. And with +2, that's going to make all the difference. So the reason why it's such a huge effect when it comes to this unit is because it's not just +1 damage, it's +3 damage because they've got 3 bolts. You can see right here, 3 burst attacks on those Jukunu, and now looking for balanced projectiles. 55 seconds, need to supervise that upgrade. I think he's supervising it now. Yeah, down to 18 seconds. That's perfect. Well done, Beastie. He knows exactly what he's doing. Don't pick your fight too early, though, Beastie. And he looks to commit, though, realizing there's quite a few enemy units here. May have bitten off more than he can chew, but the extra damage from that Jukunu veterancy is really going to pay dividends here. In this situation, there are plenty of archers. But the longer he fights, the better this fight goes for him because he's going to have reinforcements coming through for him, and that's going to make all the difference. Jukunu now looking to battle it out up against the enemy archers. Keep in mind, these archers are only feudal age archers up against the veterancy of the unit, so even though the numbers look really good here, the first palace guard comes through. It's going to be soaking up plenty of damage as well. Look at how much damage it's going to be soaking up. He just needs to focus down enemy Jukunus and keep those numbers low, but the reinforcements, that's what's doing him dirty right now. Keeps falling back. Oh, you can see how much damage he's doing at the moment. And just splitting the attack move. Look how quickly he's taking down those units. This is the power spike. One of the most dangerous power spikes in Age of Empires 4. If you're not ready for this, and evidently Marine Lord was not ready for this, it can cost you. I'm curious whether Marine Lord's looking for a Castle Age right now. I suspect that's probably his one way back into this game. Castle Age into a Mangonel. He's going to need crossbows though, and you can see he's got Castle Age planned, but he's still so far away from it. How many traders have we got out for him at the moment? Up to 7 traders. Only onto 7 traders. All this time and still only 7 traders. If he was on like 23 traders, I'd be like, okay, this is a game. This is not a game right now. Beastie it might not seem far ahead, but I promise you, the amount of damage these Jukunu are putting out there is just no two ways Marine Lord's going to be able to hold this. Military wing's going to come back. If there's a will, there's a way. And this is Woodwall, so maybe there is a way. He needs to go for a Mangonel. That's got to be the way, but he needs a way to deal with the Palace Guards, and that's where it becomes so difficult, because the Palace Guards with their +2 ranged armor are only going to be taking 1 damage against enemy archers, so he needs to go into mass horsemen, but the horsemen don't do particularly well against the Palace Guards because the Palace Guards get better surrounds on them, and there's all these little factors. So right now I'm feeling like the best thing Marine Lord can look to do, avoid fights, build walls, just give up trade for now. That's all he needs to do. If he doesn't give up trade, he's going to have such a tough time. Jukunu slowly but steadily grinding down those enemy forces, and Beastie streaming more Jukunu and Palace Guards across the map, running towards the enemy base. Arrow Slits comes in on the outpost, and he continues kiting back, entering towards the trade line. A couple of villagers migrating up towards that deer patch in the north. Doesn't get spotted out just yet. We're right on board with Beastie, as he does look to get cleaned up, but keep in mind it's those Palace Guards that are going to be ringing so strong at this moment. They're going to be holding him really, really well here, because the lack of damage. And this is the problem, right? Because now you want to start going into Camel Archers to deal with the Palace Guards, but you can't because of the Jukunu. The Jukunu are just going to eviscerate any Camel Archers that even attempt to get out on this battlefield. So the Palace Guards have just got free reign over the enemy base for the moment. Now, the real damage starts getting done if he ever makes his way down onto this wood line, because we talked about it before. The prospect of a Mangonel could be something that's quite big here. He's got plenty of infantry, so could look for it. He's got the resources in the bank as well. Expect him to go into Knights, Mangonels, and a few crossbows, maybe some men-at-arms, just anything to hold the line at this point. He's got 3 seconds. He doesn't really want to be taking this fight right now. Just needs to be, honestly, just chilling underneath the town center. What's the word that I'm looking for? He just wants to be putting all of his forces together, consolidating his forces together. That's what he needs to be doing. But we see down on the south side, Beastie has found the villagers on wood, spots the stable as well, and begins running through the enemy base. We enter into the cinematic mode as Marine Lord tries to hold on. He needs a miracle right now. He needs his crossbows out. The thing is, even you're going to crossbows, Jukunu just going to rip through them. And Vil's migrating down a little bit further south. He's got plenty of room down here, and just forces Beastie to run his reinforcements a little bit further. Could look to pick them up here. But now the Camel Riders from the Age Up coming through. A couple of Knights going to be hitting the field. And finally, it looks like the saving grace that Marine Lord was looking for is here. Villagers just idle out the wazoo. No Mangonel in sight. And you can see how much trouble he's having with these Palace Guards. There are so many Palace Guards right now. Are there Palace Guards? There should be Palace Guards all over the map right now from Marine Lord's perspective. Let's have a look and see. Oh, yeah, there you go. Riding on Lord with... Oh, yeah, okay, Beastie's fine. Found the villagers in the north. Palace Guards now running into the trade line. And this is the flood that is so famously Chinese, so quintessentially Chinese right here. it's incredibly difficult because, yeah, all right, you managed to peter me out on this front, but I have just opened up so many more fronts. Chukunu just splitting apart the trade, and the palace guards obviously in the north chasing away all those vills, and Marine Lord now being idled out a huge amount. And good game gets called. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this casted game, make sure you go check out EGC TV's cast at 15 GMT, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 1 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. The time has changed for that because we just had daylight savings. I'll be casting. KP will be casting. Make sure you're over there. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.